The Raiders upset the Chiefs 40-34, ending their 13-game winning streak. Or the Raiders, a legit threat in the AFC. Cam, would you start us off first?
Yeah,
What's your thoughts?
so yesterday I watched the full game, of course. Honestly, that was an interesting game. I did not expect the Raiders to did what they did yesterday against the Chiefs. But honestly, we all know the blueprint into beating the Kansas City Chiefs now. The thing is limit Mahomes' possession on the field. And the Raiders was on the field about 35 minutes of the game, and the Chiefs was only on the field about 23 minutes. So that's pretty terrible. Gruden and the offense did well rushing the football because, the Chiefs has one of the worst rush defense in the league. So I think right there they kind of took advantage of that, running the football down the throat. And also, too, the play action game was pretty amazing yesterday by Derek Carr. The deep ball to Ruggs, to Waller, and, just key downs to, put the Raiders in some good situations. But honestly, I got to give credit to the defense yesterday, especially the D-line. They really contained Mahomes well. Honestly, Mahomes couldn't make all the spectacular plays outside the pocket. They did a good job at that, doing all the stunning and twists. And I got to give credit to the Raiders secondary, man. They didn't allow anything deep. They kept everything in front of them. And that, in my opinion, was like an advantage for them. So I won't say the Raiders are a threat to the AFC, but to the Chiefs, yes, they're definitely a threat to the Chiefs, but not to the AFC.
I would say this before Zach get in here. That boy Henry Ruggs, man, that guy is nice. The speed, literally, he arguably was the best wide receiver, in my opinion, on Alabama. You can argue Jerry Jeudy, but there was something very special about Henry Ruggs. First of all, the truth be told, he had that 72-yard catch, mossing the hell out of Rashard Fenton. He also had 2 catches. He only had 2 catches, but he had productivity in the yardage because he ended up with 118 yards. The one thing about Ruggs, he's very important to that Raiders team. When he is on the field playing for the Raiders, they are more explosive, and the record shows that. They are 3-0 when Ruggs is playing. When he's not playing, the team averages 21.5 points per game compared to the 36 points where he's there on the football field, and they are 0-2 without Henry Ruggs. He is a vital part of that offense. Zach, talk to me.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of different ways to look at the game. I agree with Cam when he said the Raiders kind of, showed you a little bit of a blueprint if you're going to beat Kansas City, how to do it. I think if you're a Raider fan, there are many different parts of this game where you could look at and you could really take away with some optimism. I think we understand that the Raiders offense could score. We've seen Darren Waller dominate games. We've seen Josh Jacobs, dominate games. But the fact is that in the first half, the Chiefs were, it was a close game. It was a shootout, but, the Chiefs offense was humming. I was really impressed in the second half, the way the Raiders defense was able to really contain Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That Raider defense isn't supposed to be good. They haven't been good all season. And the fact that they went into Kansas City and really shut them down for the second half, that was a super impressive job, super impressive effort. When you look at Derek Carr, I think, he's one of the harder quarterbacks to evaluate because the flashes are there. I think Gruden needs to take more deep shots with him. To Henry Ruggs or not, because Henry Ruggs on the field really provides a nice threat. I'm interested, though, by the question, Cam, you said you think they're a legitimate threat to the Chiefs, but not the AFC. So what does that tell me, about the Chiefs? How do you feel about them? That by that comment, that doesn't really
I think. Don't you mean maybe because they're in the same division and in the divisions is always threats? I think he means it like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. I was impressed with the Raiders. I think right now, when you look at Vegas, they are definitely in the mix I don't think they could win the division, but when you look at teams like them, Indianapolis, Tennessee, I think they're definitely in the Cleveland. I think they're definitely in the range for, a 6 or 7 seed.
I agree with Zach with that. I think they're in the range for a 6 and 7 seed. Let's not forget, should I say, you always got to remember. Let's not forget that last year, this is a team that almost had a fighting chance of making the playoffs. And they are a far better improved team this year. So I do think that they will get over the hump if they continue to play like how they're playing. They beat teams like the Saints already. And they beat a team in the Chiefs. They beat 2 quality teams in close games, and they showed that they're mentally tough. One thing I would say about Derek Carr is in the game yesterday, the brother looked like the MVP caliber call that we saw, the one that was in the MVP conversation back in 2016.
Right.
He threw a beautiful ball on 3rd and 17. Mind you, they was up 30-24, and all signs show, like, listen, you better score. You better keep the drive alive because you don't want to give Pat Mahomes the ball back only being down 6. So what you want to do is stay on the football field and convert. 3rd and 17. Derek Carr out of play action finds a wide open Hunter Renfrow to keep the chains moving, keeping Pat Mahomes on the bench. And that's the blueprint, like you alluded to, Cam. Keep Mahomes on the bench. It's not rocket science. You don't need Sid, the science kid, to come over here and explain what it is to beat the Chiefs. Bill Belichick already showed the blueprint years ago. It just takes execution and discipline.
Correct.
And that's what they have to, and that's what teams had to do in order to beat the Chiefs. That's why when Tyreek Hill came out during the offseason talking all this rubbish, we gonna win 5, 6, and 7 championships, I'm like, the brother was on something, because you got to take the field in this situation. The league will always catch up to somebody. All right, you may be hard to catch up in 1 year, but the next year, the league is going to start catching up because the league is a fast-paced league. And guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm throwing this out there. The league is catching up to the Chiefs. The Chargers almost beat them a couple weeks ago. They got off the hook. The Patriots probably would have won that game if Cam Newton was there. That would have been a second loss for the Chiefs. And now you're talking about the loss yesterday. The league is catching up to the Chiefs.